Postmodern Art Podcast, a podcast dedicated to giving artists who are wowing the world over the platform they deserve. I'm your host, Ethan Ragland, and for today's episode, let's get into the mainframe to find some interesting information about a wonderful artist you all should know about. Today's guest is FairbanksVT, a digital artist, animator, and VTuber, formerly of the sea, that now presents himself as this incredible cyberpunk persona. Whether it be the animations that they have provided before or the VTubing that they have presented both then and now, Fairbanks is someone that I have been definitely keeping eyes on here and there. So when the opportunity arose for me to bring them on the podcast, I knew I had to. And trust me, this was as fun of a conversation as you could probably expect, considering the various topics we may have if you know who they are. If you do enjoy the conversation, please make sure you follow them in the links down in the description below. If you enjoy the podcast, make sure you like, share, subscribe, or follow whatever audio streaming platform you prefer. Leave 5 stars wherever you can. I see that stuff, and you guys know I love it. I just genuinely do. If you want to go a little bit further with that support, maybe you should consider going to the merch shop down in the description below as hosted on Fourth Wall. We sincerely do have some incredible designs that I think you guys would absolutely love. And look, if all you want is just a nice, calm, cool, chill place for you to come in, meet some other incredible artists, and talk about the incredible art out there, whether it's your own or others, maybe you should consider joining our Discord server, the Artist Sanctuary. We've already developed an incredible group there that I think enjoy a good fun time, and I think you would be a wonderful addition to that group today. But now, without further ado, please enjoy the Postmodern Art Podcast. The glasses is definitely like the icing on top more than anything else. Like it's a good look.
Yeah, these actually I was able to kind of fix them. They sort of broke.
Ooh, how do you sort of break glasses?
One of the frame arms kind of got super freaking bent, so I just kind of like bend it back into place. But it's like that kind of bent where it's like, how long is it gonna hold?
It's that kind of bent where if you feel like you twist that metal just a little bit too wrong, it's gonna snap.
Yeah, if I bend it in any other direction, it's gonna go.
Exactly.
I mean, they were just little cheapo ones from Amazon. I have another pair on my throne anyway. So.
Oh, there you go. Push come to shove, we can all toss into to get that funded ASAP.
It's like $17.
Oh, okay, that's what I mean. ASAP. It's like if anyone is willing to spare $17, the price of like what a couple of meals at McDonald's or something like that. Like I think they can cover that.
If that.
Let's see. All right, I think I got this stuff more or less set up. Thank you once again sincerely for taking the time to do this. This was I was surprised with how quickly you answered and how quickly you wanted to get the episode going. I appreciate it sincerely.
Oh yeah.
Is this your first time ever appearing on a podcast or?
Yes.
Oh, okay, awesome, nice. I'm already loving that. I'm loving that. I'll say, in fact, I was actually appearing on someone else's podcast last night, and I just straight up told them, like, one of the things that gives me that dopamine rush is knowing that an artist that I think is, like, incredibly talented and doing incredible stuff, asking them and knowing, oh, wait, this is your first time being on a podcast. Wait, what? Like, with all the incredible stuff you do, no one's ever wanted to talk to you about the stuff you're doing?
Yeah, despite the fact that Death by Snoo Snoo kind of went super viral, I'm still basically a nobody.
Look, don't get me wrong. We'll definitely address that dragon in the room.
Oh, yeah. I'm prepared.
But I also wanted to make sure I gave you as much of a good, well-rounded conversation just as a whole. I didn't want to just bring you on here just to talk about the process.
Tell us about the dragon lady.
Give us more death. Bye. Snoo. Death. Bye.
Oh, God.
No, trust me. I'm certainly intrigued to talk about that. But again, like with all the stuff you've had a hand in, stuff like that, I'm certainly excited for the conversation we're about to have. 3, 2, 1. All right, Fairbanks, before we really get going, I must ask the icebreaker question of the podcast, if I may. Let's say you get to go to a desert island on your own accord. It's just you alone with your thoughts. You get to kick back, relax, and get to enjoy yourself for a little bit. With accommodations, you're not stranded on this island. It's more like a little island paradise just dedicated for you.
It's one of those islands on like Hawaii or something.
Exactly, or like in the middle of like the Philippines or something along the lines of that.
Yeah.
To help make sure you just don't go completely insane on this island, you can bring
Too late.
Okay, further down the pit of insanity on this island, you could bring one piece of media or one piece of art with you to help with whatever kind of headspace you want on this island, to help with whatever kind of relaxing vibe you want. If given this opportunity, what would that one piece be?
And like specific piece of media, not like an internet connection or anything.
I mean, if you want to say an internet connection, I'll allow it. But I would prefer you choose like whatever you consider media, like film, TV show, video game, whatever you consider art or media. It's all within that realm.
Either all 3 How to Train Your Dragon movies or the complete series of Ed, Edd and Eddy.
Oh, both very good, but also very different when it comes to like what they represent. So I'm now curious, why are those two like series and once it's another the things that jump to mind?
Favorite movie trilogy of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite cartoon of all time, and also they make just asinine things out of fucking bric-a-brac.
I mean, that's true. Trust me, like, just Ed, Edd and Eddy alone, just, like, every single episode is just so unique with, like, their plot and, like, all the
They made a plane. They made a functioning plane out of the stuff they found around school.
Yep. They were the kids you wanted in your, like, middle school more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, also, we gotta give love to the How to Train Your Dragon. I mean, like you said, like it's an amazing trilogy. Like I'm pretty sure that is a good example of just every single movie, like if not progressively getting better, just being amazing on their own. Just with like the storytelling, the visual stuff like that. Like I agree with you. An amazing choice more than anything else.
Yeah, I cried at the second one.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Aren't they making another one now, or like a reboot or something like that?
They're making a live action remake, which I honestly don't think they need to. But John Williams is coming back for the score.
I mean, that's
cool. At least
that's always a positive. I mean, let's be honest. When it comes to any live action remake, do we honestly really need them? I mean,
the only Disney live action remake I thoroughly enjoyed was Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, that's a good one. I will also be honest with you. I know it was mostly CGI, but I honestly enjoyed the Jungle Book one. Like I know the original one has a lot more charm to it or whatnot, but that didn't mean that the live action remake didn't have like its quirks and like the parts that I enjoyed about it.
Yeah, Christopher Walken as King Louie was hilarious.
It was a good one.
I love like whenever Christopher Walken, phenomenal actor, whenever he has to do voice acting, he just sounds like he's doing a bad Christopher Walken impersonation.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, he's got the money, so it's like if that's what they want to do and they pay him for it, like let him do the worst that he can.
It's like how for Into the Spider-Verse when Nick Cage was doing the lines for Spider-Man Noir, they're like, Can you give us a bit more? I was like, oh, you want the full Cage? Got it. He knows he's a meme.
Oh, no. Have you heard the voice lines that he apparently recorded for Dead by Daylight?
Oh God, no!
No, they're out there, and trust me, it is all just one big meme. It is all just one big meme.
I love how like the original trailer for him, there was no clear delineation whether he was going to be a survivor or a killer.
It just knows that Nick Cage is in the game. How?
Yeah, it's Nick Cage.
Oh goodness, but. Regardless, either the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy or the entirety of Ed, Edd and Eddy. That is your answer. You're locking that in.
Yep.
Then if that's the case, I cannot think of a better way to start the Postmodern Art Podcast. Welcome, everyone. I am your host, Nathan Ragland. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, or follow whatever audio streaming platform you prefer. You can support the podcast with our brand new merch shop on Fourth Wall. Go to, link will be in the description below because the link is a long-ass fucking thing. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and some more, Tumblr. I just signed up for Tumblr recently. At Postmod Art Pod for future updates and guest announcements, including today's guest.
Hi.
They are a digital artist, animator, and VTuber, formerly of the sea, now hacking into your mainframe to provide death by snoo among other things. Welcome to the podcast, FairbanksVT.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
How are you doing today, Banksy?
I'm doing good.
Well,
That's my favorite part of the rebrand. People get to call me Banksy.
yeah.
It's been me all along.
How does it feel to be the notorious Banksy that has created some of the most influential artwork of the 21st century?
I can't dispute that.
It's like you can neither confirm nor deny it because am I lying? Am I telling the truth? You may never know.
I can't argue the accuracy of that anymore.
Exactly. Well, regardless, thank you for taking the opportunity to be here. I mean, you're certainly someone that I've been definitely keeping an eye on for a while, especially after a certain animation came out that we will definitely address. I mean, I already kind of addressed it, but that doesn't mean I just looked at that one piece and that was all, because I, followed you since, and I've seen some of the cool stuff you've been able to do, both past and present and future. And I definitely want to divulge a lot more into that. But before we divulge into that, I want to go back and learn more or less the origin story of Fairbanks, or at least the person behind Fairbanks. What got you interested in art in the first place?
I've said this multiple times, and I will continue to say it until the day I stop breathing. I don't remember when I started like drawing or doing art. I just know that I never stopped.
Okay.
I remember like the only like true art class I took was in middle school, but I also know that I had been drawing long before that.
That's fair. That's valid. Was there like, I know you said you couldn't really think of a time to where like you had started drawing, but you've just been always drawing for as long as you can remember. Is there any like particular like art pieces or like just drawings or art that you may have done like early on that you think back and think, that was really impressive of young me to be able to do something like that?
Nothing really comes to mind. I have like a few milestone or cornerstone pieces in on my computer somewhere. I'm just like, hey, this is the first time I did this. This is the first time I did that. This is my first animation.
Okay, as long as you make sure to keep a nice little detailed record of every milestone for you, because that's always something that I even struggle with sometimes. Thinking of like, when exactly did I do this, or when exactly was like the first time I did that. Time is just a flat circle at this point. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Time is a weird soup.
It is certainly a weird soup. So I'm wondering, when along this weird soup of a time, when did it go from just like a general love that you've kind of just always had for art to a passion and then wanting to make it your career?
I had always done art as like a hobby, or just like something that I just enjoyed doing. I never really thought about doing it as a career.
Okay.
It just kind of sort of happened with the lockdowns in 2020.
You know what? Yeah, the lockdown certainly did a lot of interesting thing for people and open up some opportunities that they may not have thought of otherwise. I mean, this podcast is a product of the lockdown. I started this September 2020, so
yeah.
Okay, so I mean, what was it? I'll go and ask this. What was it about, like, the lockdown time that kind of like gave you an opportunity to really progress and like truly go down this art path?
Really, it was just something that was kind of thrown at me. I was furloughed from my job. I worked at a consignment store, like a little mom and pop like consignment shop, for like 4 years. One of my favorite jobs. I loved working there. It was great. March 19th, 2020. It was like, okay, we're going into lockdown. Everybody go home for like 2 weeks. And I just kept calling back, like, hey, do you want me to come back? Do you want me to come back? Do you want me to come back? And eventually the owner, sweet little old lady, just finally said, you might want to start looking for other employment. I was like, okay. So I opened commissions. They never really went anywhere. And I had stumbled upon this cute little website called 2 Minute Tabletop. Hi, Vax.
2 Minute Tabletop. Okay.
Yeah, they make maps and monster and character tokens for playing D&D over digital platforms like Roll20 and Foundry and stuff.
Okay.
I had seen some of the tokens, like, I can kind of work with these, and I joined their Discord server. I edited a few tokens to match like my own D&D characters and the characters in my campaign. Mm-hmm. And midway through April, the founder and owner of 2 Minute Tabletop poked me on Discord. I was like, hey, Like your stuff. You want a job?
Oh.
I was like, okay, I can do that. And that's basically been my main source of income since then.
You know what? Hey, when an opportunity arises, who's to you to say no? I mean, that has to be like kind of surreal more than anything else. Just kind of one of those, like, you found like a cool little fun opportunity to embrace, I guess, part of your hobby, D&D and stuff.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, it's like part of your career. And you're like, oh, that. Who am I to stop? Let's go.
Yep. Not what I was expecting, but fuck it, we ball.
Well, I'm glad you did bring up the D&D stuff, because that's something I definitely wanted to touch upon, because obviously, like, a major part of what you've been able to present out in the world is based on some of the stuff you've done with D&D. So I have to know, when did you initially get involved with D&D in the first place?
It was it was either late 2016 or early 2017.
Okay.
When I first gave Dungeons and Dragons like a passing glance, because like everybody knows about D&D. It's been around for like 50 years at this point. We all knew like even if you didn't play yourself, we all knew someone in school who was off in the little corner rolling their funny math rocks.
Yep.
And I admit, like, all through high school, middle school, all through that, I was one of those people who was like, D&D, that's for nerds.
Hey, guilty as charged here as well, so.
Yeah. But then I watched, I saw Dice Camera Action on Twitch, the official D&D live play with Pro Jared, Holly Conrad, Nate Wants to Battle, and Anna Prosper Robinson, I think? I don't know, it was their original one. And I was like, oh, this looks fun. They're playing through Curse of Strahd. Cool. So I looked into it more. I was like, maybe I can probably do something like this. I whipped up just a generic fucking character in hindsight. It was like a Kenku rogue. Like, everybody has one of those.
Everyone's got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah. Never played them.
Okay.
Never got to play them. Yeah. But then, like, I sort of lost interest on that. And I had seen some of my friends reblogging things for a little niche, unknown, unheard of D&D podcast by the name of Critical Role.
There you go.
And I was like, professional voice actors playing D&D. This looks silly. I looked it up on the wiki because I had seen like pictures of the characters and stuff, and I thought like, oh, is it like animated? Is it an animatic like Harmon Quest? Because I'd seen some of that too. I was like, oh no, it's just them staring at a camera. And not sure if I'd be interested in that. And then I saw a compilation of Victor the Black Powder Merchant, one of the NPCs from Critical Role. And I was like, I'm sold.
It's like, sign me the fuck up.
Yep. I distinctly remember the moment that sold me. It was they go back to his shop and Talison's character Percy knocks on the door. I was like, yes, it's Percival. Do you remember me? No. And it's just like the way he said it and like the perfect time. I was like, okay, this shit's good.
Yep. I can only imagine, especially because, let's be honest, like Critical Role just as a whole probably did a lot for the D&D community to make it a lot more
Critical
mainstream.
Role is the reason we have the D&D renaissance right now.
Yeah, it's easy to argue that more than anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, especially...
And like, again, like mad respect, like, you know, the Adventure Zone and all those other ones, like run by Dimension 20, whatever one Brenda Lee Mulligan runs, I can't remember the name of it. Is it Dimension 20? I don't remember. But all those other like actual plays and live plays, they of course like they deserve oodles, canoodles, and toasted strudels of respect. Mm-hmm. Critical Role is the flagship.
Yep. I mean, to be fair,
that's the icebreaker just cruising through modern culture right now.
I mean, to be fair, whenever your like campaigns and stuff become so successful enough that a studio takes you seriously and makes it into an animated series, you know you're doing something right with your D&D campaigns.
Yeah. Yeah. God, I remember like tuning into that to like that announcement stream, like the day they announced, like, hey, we're making an animated series. Here's the link to our Kickstarter. We have this amount of time to raise this amount of money. We're gonna be doing a Twitch stream tonight to discuss it. And you tune in, and it's Matt, Marisha, and Travis just going. Just like 1,000-yard stares, like, what have we done?
It's like,
the critter hug of death is real.
It's like, what have we done? What did y'all expect?
We can't put it back in the box.
Oh, goodness. So I can easily see why that series more or less like got a vice grip on you and wanted to get you invested in D&D more than anything else. So
yeah,
I'm wondering if that being the start, I'm wondering what is it about, like, because watching it and playing it are probably two different things, like, you know, similar vibes, but they are two different things sometimes. So I'm wondering,
playing it as both a player and a DM is a lot more stressful.
Oh yeah, no,
because now there's consequences.
When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
Never! I cast fireball!
Lightning bolt! Anyways.
I remember that video.
I know, right?
That is old internet.
That is a relic of the olden times, yes. So I'm wondering, like, what is it about, like, playing D&D that, like, creatively gets you going? Like, how is the experience actually, like, investing yourself in it, like, a creative venture for you?
I have, like, always loved, like, you know, fantasy and, like, all that stuff. A little bit of sci-fi, too, since, you know, I'm working shit. But, I remember in high school, I wanted to make my own fantasy novel, like a fantasy comic series.
Okay.
I had a cast of characters, I had a setting, I had a plot. I'm a bad writer. I'm bad at putting things to pen.
Yo,
I had like all these cinematic scenarios floating around in my head. I go to type them out or put them on paper, and it's like,
Wait, there might be something else. Again, you say that, I cannot believe how much I relate to you when it comes to that stuff, because I cannot tell you the amount of times that, like, I've had this, like, cool ideas for stuff, but then I try to put my pen to paper, and it's just like 404 error not found.
Yeah.
So
the fact that I've been able to keep a single D&D campaign running for almost 5 years at this point is a miracle in and of itself.
Oh, you know what? I applaud you for that one more than anything else. That is a testament. I mean, I've heard of some D&D campaigns lasting for years and such, but I mean, even then, like, you know, like, I will be upfront honest with you, I've only been a part of one D&D campaign. I'm looking to get into more. I want to get invested in some more, but I've only been in one. And it was whenever I was in college, and the person I was rooming with was, like, the DM for it, and we only played, like, 3 or 4 sessions or whatnot, and then, like, you know, people got busy and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Like a common saying among, like, the D&D community is the true BBEG of all D&D campaigns is scheduling.
Yep.
Scheduling has ended more campaigns than Red Dragons and Beholders combined.
You know what? Fair value. So I can only imagine, especially whenever you have, like, a session that you've been basically having for, like, 5 years and stuff like that. I can only imagine how many others you've either been involved with or DMing yourself. I can only imagine some of the interesting stories that you guys are presenting more than anything else. Can you think of, like, some of the best, like, stories or some of the best highlights from a D&D campaign?
Oh yeah. Definitely. So as I said, like, I've been having this campaign going for almost 5 years. It has not been with the same group of characters.
Oh.
The only party member who has been around literally since session 0 is the wizard.
That seems
like it originally started with 4 characters. It was Gideon, the Tiefling Wizard, Hawk, the Aarakocra Bard, Chasmere, the Drow Rogue, and Sathyra, the White Dragonborn Barbarian.
Okay.
Due to real-life things, the Rogue and Barbarian had to step away. due to just real life stuff. I think the barbarian like legit got burnt out of D&D or said they didn't like it, and the rogue had like some personal things they needed to take care of.
Fair.
So I asked around to like a group of like some other friends, like, hey, I'm running a D&D campaign. I really don't want it to just fizzle out at level 5. So you want to come in and play? And I had like 2 people say like, sure. One of them became the new barbarian, and we gained a cleric who was played by Birdism, who would later become my girlfriend.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. And it sort of just continued on from there. The second barbarian eventually, way farther down the line, they also had to leave given negative things happening in their life beyond their control, and they actually joined the Marines for whatever reason. But good for them.
Yeah, I was like, good for them.
Yeah. The player who played the original barbarian actually came back with a different character, a Goliath fighter.
Interesting.
Yeah, she likes the big ladies.
I think you could attest to that.
Yeah. We had a halfling monk come in for a little bit and then leave. We had another drow rogue come in, stay for a while, and then leave. We had a human warlock come and go as well. An Aasimar cleric. It was a 2 cleric party for a little bit. They stepped away for life reasons and were politely asked not to come back.
Understandable.
Yeah. Without going into too much detail, they're basically they basically became the Orion Akaba of my campaign.
Gotcha.
If you know, you know. Like I'm thankful for everything they brought to the table, but yeah, don't talk to them anymore.
Yeah. Certain things happen, and you just kind of have to move on with certain things.
Yeah, but the halfling monk eventually came back.
Okay.
We gained a half-elf fighter warlock, another white dragonborn, this time a paladin, who also had to leave for life reasons. Mm-hmm. And finally, we gained another Goliath fighter. A lot of duplicate races coming and going, it seems. So the current party is the Aarakocra Bard also left due to they were moving and they had like everything going on in their lives, so they just kind of like stayed away. I've invited them to come back. They said if their schedule allows it, they're more than happy to. They just have a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, fair enough.
They left at level like 12 and the party's level 20.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. But the current party is a tiefling wizard, elf cleric, another elf cleric, which is a DM NPC controlled by me.
There you go.
Half-elf warlock fighter, halfling monk, and Goliath fighter. So party is 6, decent party size.
Yeah, I mean that's the characters that you just seem to be going through makes it sound like this could be like the Saturday Night Live of D&D campaigns, just with the revolving door of characters.
You're not wrong. But as for like truly memorable like standout moments, there are 2.
Okay, let's go.
I had set up a sort of like a kidnapping mystery little storyline that involved like a bunch of children going missing, a suspicious noble family, and a friend of the party who was a guard captain on the verge of losing his job if he continued to pursue this, because the true guard captain thought like, hey, it's a dead end. Like, we have got nothing from this. Is it a waste of time and resources? Just let it go. Like, makes sense. Like, okay, like it's a cold case. To pursue it is a waste of our time and resources. We have other things that we need to be focusing on right now. But the lieutenant was like, no, I want to solve this. It's like, okay, you can solve it, but if you don't do it in 2 weeks, you hand in your badge. That sort of thing. So like help the NPC and solve a crime in the process.
Right.
And I figured it would be like a race against the clock, like scouring the city, finding clues. The wizard was like, that's an illusory wall. Walk. Just walked right through it. I was like, looked at my notes, picked them up, put them in the trash, and just went with it. What was going to be possibly weeks of intrigue and Skullduggery and subversion became, oh look, there's the bad guy. Kill. There's that one. And the other one...
Sorry. It's always beautiful when the game of chance just rolls in the way that the DM just has to be like, for fuck's sakes.
One thing I will always tell like new and burgeoning DMs is, as the dungeon master, you do not control the story. The players control the story. Yep. Your job is to sit there and tell them what happens when they decide to pinch the guards. Like, it doesn't matter what storylines you set up. If the party wants to go a different route, they're going a different route.
Yep.
The other epic standout moment in the campaign. You know what Tarrasque is?
Not off the top of my head, no.
The Tarrasque is basically the Dungeons and Dragons equivalent of Godzilla.
Okay. It
shows up every now and then, and when it does, it is a literal walking apocalypse. Kingdoms that have lasted for thousands of years. The Tarrasque walks through them, and they are just left in absolute ruins.
As you expect from a D&D version of Godzilla, understandable.
Yep. It's not an evil creature. It's not a good creature. It is unaligned. It is just a being of destruction. That is its purpose in life. The party finds it. It is asleep. They accidentally wake it up. Oh, and now they have to stop it before it gets to a city.
Okay.
They have help from a storm giant and an ancient brass dragon, which some of you may already know.
Okay.
So they're attacking this thing from all sides. Oh, also a sorcerer friend of the party, an NPC also joined in. Is like, hey, we need help. I'm on it. Just flies in. They're on a flying broom. They're on a flying carpet. It's like a big aerial battle around this thing as it's still trudging forward and like trying to be stopped. The halfling monk,
okay,
who is 3 feet tall, punches it in the face.
I like the
and
odds.
Knocks it prone.
What? You had me in the first half, not gonna lie.
The 3 foot tall halfling monk knocked the Tarrasque prone. The Tarrasque is basically a battle map in and of itself. And she just punch. I think I flavored it like, you punch it so hard it goes to swat at you like a mosquito. You dodge out of the way and it just slaps itself in the face and knocks itself off balance and falls to the ground. Dungeons and Dragons, y'all.
I'm sorry, did they roll like 3 perfect nat 20s to get this situation? Like, what the?
I think they rolled it. Like, I don't know if it was a nat 20, but it was a really good hit. Mm-hmm. And the Tarrasque rolled a natural 1 on its save against being knocked prone. Because, way of the open hand, you get a strength save against it. I was like, it could use a legendary resistance, but this is really fucking funny.
It's like, I could make this make sense, or I could make this fun.
Yeah, I could make this epic from a story for like, this guy means business standpoint, or I could make this an epic moment for the player.
Yep.
I'm gonna go make this an epic moment for the player. They will remember till the day they die.
There you go. That's a good way of looking at it, especially for like the player and like all these different characters that you had talked about. Just from the player's aspect. But I know for you, as a player yourself, you've introduced a good cast of characters yourself with some of the people that you've introduced. I want to start with actually one of the ones that I've seen you use very prominently. And that is one of a character by the name of Laura. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, Laura.
Tell me about this Laura character, please.
So she is a human draconic bloodline sorcerer. I made a live 2D model of her because I love my D&D characters a completely normal amount. What you're talking about?
Look, if you have the ability to make them come to life.
Yeah. Originally, she started out as an NPC for my campaign.
Okay.
Because, fun fact, this is technically the second campaign I've run. The first one I ever ran fell apart after a few months because some of the players were toxic motherfuckers.
I can see. I can see how the foundation is not exactly strong on that one.
Yeah. So like 4 months of playing and me not knowing how to pace a story. Mm-hmm. They were like already 11 like 4 months later. I was like, I don't like the way I don't like the direction this is going in. I don't like the energy at the table. So I'm just going to completely level this campaign and start fresh and literally like hit stop, rewind, and refresh and just literally play the same campaign over again with different flavors.
Okay.
And Laura had just been introduced as an NPC in the original campaign. And I kind of liked the feel of her a little bit. I was like, okay, this could be a fun NPC. Because she was actually intended to secretly be the BBEG.
Okay.
Yep. So with the restart of the campaign, I was like, okay, I'm going to rework some things. And now, instead of coming in like midway through the game and sort of coming out of nowhere, she is now a prominent figure throughout the campaign from session 0. Like literally, the first session of the new campaign was to go rescue her because she got stuck in a swamp.
Oh, lovely.
Yep, she was doing she was a sorcerer. She worked for a arcane academy known as the Viridian Lyceum.
Okay.
She was the chief draconologist, being a draconic bloodline sorcerer, sort of her forte. She was in a swamp doing research and got attacked by an ogre. And pretty much got kidnapped. So they basically said, hey, go look for her, please.
So they found her. We kind of need her, yeah.
Yeah, she has a seminar to do like next week, so we kind of need her alive. But rapidly became a party favorite, one of their biggest allies and supporters. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, every time they leave the room, she's like, but that's her as the NPC, because the true BBEG of my campaign has been a homebrew demigod by the name of Zorula.
Oh, okay.
She is a colossal black dragon, the firstborn child of Tiamat. Yeah.
Interesting.
And if you actually take Laura's name, Laura Miazel, and flip the letters around a little bit, it spells I am Zorula. I fucking Voldemorted my own party.
I wasn't going to say it, but yeah, you did. You basically did.
Yep. Oh, that was a fun reveal when it happened.
That it's stuff like that, like hearing like the creativity you can implement with a story like that and some of the different elements is why I want to be involved with D&D campaigns, like because I know
90% of running a D&D campaign is just plagiarizing every piece of media you have consumed throughout your entire life. I'm not joking.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, damn, you're so bluntly true.
You're right, and I'm angry about it. But as a player character, Laura always had like a cover story. Like, okay, I can't have people knowing I'm secretly a demigod trying to take over the world. This is my cover story. Mm-hmm. And I basically took that cover story and I was like, you know what? I'm going to expand upon this and make this an actual D&D character.
Okay.
And I did. And it is one of the favorite stories I've written, one of the favorite characters I've written. I've written a bunch of D&D characters, but none of them have like had the staying power in my mind and heart as Laura has. Because like someone who's like super confident, flamboyant, sassy is such a disconnect from me. It's like, oh, this is fun to play and explore because I'm a very quiet person.
Yep.
Like I don't know how to start conversations, even with people I like and even my friends. I'm like, hi. That's it.
Hi, how are you?
So like having someone who can like enter in, like just throw open the door and just go, hello everyone, how are you today? It's like open arm, like here I am, love me, like that kind of personality, but not being a super entitled bitch about it.
Yep, there you go. There you go. I was gonna say the one D&D campaign I was involved with, like I can think my character is somewhat of a similar situation of like being someone that's completely different, but also like somewhat of a embracing of like who I am as a person and such. I can't remember the exact race, and you might know if I say this, but I was basically like a bird person kind of thing.
Arakokra.
There you go. That's exactly what it was. So I was that, and I'm sure you probably know like the personality traits when it comes like that. See me, I'm just this humble, somewhat loud, but like more or less like a like very nice person and such. Yeah. The fact that as the bird person, I get to be like a little sassy, a little sly, and just like oh okay, so how exactly do you intend for us to do this? You say like the fact that I get to cheese it up a little bit when it comes to that. Like it was just fun to like get into that character a little bit.
Yeah, and like my very first D&D character I ever played was a dragonborn barbarian.
Okay.
Who was like, oh, this is what we're doing? Fuck yeah, let's go. like okay, here's the plan, because they weren't a grog. They weren't like big dumb, but I would like to rage. They were a former soldier who kind of like had a mission go wrong and basically discharged themselves, which had its own implications for a story down the line.
Right.
But like they had some tacticalness to their mind. It's like, okay, so we do this. This is a pincer maneuver. Let's go. Discharge in. He was fun, and later became an NPC in my campaign. Like, there you go. That's what I do. Like if I make a D&D character and I don't play them for a while, they eventually just become NPCs.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. I mean, especially with some of the characters that, again, like you've only teased upon and such. The one thing I wanted to say with Laura is I love how like it's become more or less like a strong part of you that you've been able to, like you've said, like basically bring her to life in so many different aspects. I mean, you talked about like the live 2D model that you made of her, but like you've also done like some animations with her as well.
Oh yeah, I've done a bunch of animations for her.
Like I can only imagine.
Some safe, some not.
Trust me, I've seen a few of them. I looked at your spicy account. Don't worry. I have to do my research thoroughly. Okay, no
arguments here.
But I will say like the one thing I love, like especially seeing like some of the animations of her, like personally, like the one that I certainly enjoy is actually the one that you've personally said is like your favorite animation that you've ever done, and that was kind of, like because I feel like especially watching that, it was probably like the best embodiment of her as a character, especially hearing you describe her more than anything else.
Like I have said multiple times, like her ideal voice, if like for some weird reason I ever got to like sit in the shoes of Matt Mercer and have like my campaign be animated in a TV series, her ideal voice, Cate Blanchett.
Yep, that's valid. That's a good one.
Yep. Hela was one of her inspirations.
Yep, exactly. I can easily see that inspiration more or less come through, and like I want to talk about like just the animations in general, just for like a quick second, because I love like your animation style, and I like
thank you,
especially like your art style in general. Like, what exactly is an inspiration for kind of the art style that you have of like the somewhat cartoony, but like still like almost like the Dragon's Lair esque style, or like Don Bluth style?
Yes. So I have always loved Don Bluth animations. Sword of the Stone, obviously Land Before Time. And just like the early Disney stuff, Dragon's Lair, of course. Again, Don Bluth, one of my favorite animators. I had always loved and grown up with like that style of animation, like the early Disney stuff. I had on VHS like Sword in the Stone, Beauty and the Beast, Sleeping Beauty, etc., etc., etc. Aristocats.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So like that has always been a major driving inspiration, and just Disney in general. I am a Disney kid.
Hey,
like
guilty charged.
Yep, I know Be Our Guest and Under the Sea by heart.
Wait, say the old one or the new one that is supposedly woke or something along the lines of that? I haven't seen the new one.
I heard the new version of Under the Sea for the live action remake. It's fine.
Yeah.
It kind of falls flat. It really does. Meanwhile, the live action version of Be Our Guest, is phenomenal.
Oh no, it is absolutely like that. They really
fucking Ewan McGregor as Lumiere.
You can't argue with that. You can't.
Yeah. You cannot argue against Obi-Wan Kenobi singing. You can't.
But going back to like the animations and stuff, like seriously, like seeing that like the early Disney like Don Bluth style like coming through or whatnot, like I think you perfectly like encapsulate that style more than anything else.
Yeah, I remember I had always wanted to animate for years and years and years, but never had the resources to do so. I didn't have a light table, so I couldn't do it on paper.
Okay.
I was working with like my first foray into digital art was fucking Microsoft Paint.
Hey,
you can't animate in Microsoft Paint. I tried, it didn't work. But I tried GIMP. I got like a blink, and that was it. It didn't look good at all. It was barely an animation. It was more like a slideshow. So that just sort of like always sat on the back burner of like something I eventually wanted to do.
Okay.
And one of my artist friends who goes by Zonis, another phenomenal artist, more the NSFW crowd, but they had started doing animation. I was like, how do you like what program do you use to animate? And he mentions Clip Studio Paint, and I was like,
okay,
where do I acquire this Studio of the Paint clips? Sent me the link. I installed it. Boom. And it was like just kind of like a coiled spring. It was like something I wanted to do for so long and so long and so long, and now I finally had the opportunity. Yep. I just dove headfirst into it. I did a ball bounce, I did another ball bounce, and then another ball bounce, and then went straight into the fun stuff.
There you go.
Yeah. Like one of the one of my earliest long animations starred Laura and my friend Zonis's character Risky, with some magical shenanigans, which I'm pretty sure you may have seen if you dug deep enough. But yeah, I did that before I even did like the basic exercise of a walk cycle like the flour sack animation. I was like, no, fuck that shit. I'm doing this. And then it went back. It's like, okay, knowing this stuff actually kind of helps a lot.
Yeah, it certainly wouldn't hurt more than anything else. I mean,
yeah,
like it's so cool to know that like, especially whenever you got that like Clip Studio Paint or Clip Studio Art, like the instant you had that, it just kind of opened a whole new world. Which I mean, it's incredible, and especially seeing especially seeing how much you've been able to develop that, seeing the animations you have at a hand and stuff like that. Like, I can only imagine, like, ever since you've really devoted yourself to animation, it must be surprising to you how much you've been able to develop and like the art you've been able to produce because of it.
Oh yeah, and I will admit, like, animation is a slog.
Yeah, okay.
It is long. It is tedious. You will be drawing the same freaking thing over and over and over again with tiny little changes. Mm-hmm. But at the end, when you step back and hit play, it is like, yes, I love this.
Exactly. I was gonna say, like, the way animation was for you was more or less the way that like podcasting was for me. It's one of those, like, I'd always thought about doing something like this to where, I've always wanted to do like some sort of like creative venture like this, you know, maybe doing like some sort of live streaming or like the interview aspect or whatnot. I just didn't know like where to start, where to upload stuff. And like all it just took was like talking to some people and looking around online and stuff. Next thing I know, seeing how easy it was, it just opened the floodgates and here we are. Yep. I mean, you know, 100 some odd episodes later, just doing this stuff. So yeah. And I wanted to say, like, I found it so ironic that you were talking about, like, you know, learning all these different, you know, stuff, doing the fun magic stuff, but, like, you didn't even learn to do a walk cycle yet, which is ironic considering the fact that the animation that everyone knows you for is
a walk cycle.
It's a walk cycle. So, I've been nice long enough. Let's just jump into it. What inspired you to make the now legendary Death by Snoo Snoo animation?
So there is a story behind this.
I want this story.
Remember that brass dragon I mentioned in my D&D campaign?
Oh,
that's her.
Mm-hmm. It's Servana, if I remember correctly.
So the dragon's name is Servana.
Servana.
Yep. Her human disguise goes by Sovereign Ortega. No first name, because I couldn't think of one. She is a favorite, yet ultimately minor NPC in my campaign. Because she's only shown up like 3 times. She doesn't have a strong bearing on the current like location of the world the campaign is set in. She rules a completely separate continent or country. But I'll be the first to call myself out. I like the muscle ladies, most because they're fun to draw and it's honestly a fun challenge. So I knew like, okay, I want to have this character who is larger than life and clearly there's something about her. So I was like, you know what? Good. Big, beefy as all hell, put She-Hulk to shame. I was like, she is going to be a dragon. And she quickly became a party favorite, just given like, stature, presence, personality, like the kind of person like super confident, knows what they want, and just shit like that. Like, basically, they radiate big dick energy.
Yep. That's that. Honestly, that is the best way to describe, especially the look on her face as she does the walk cycle, like just straight up.
Like one of my favorite ways to describe her is, legends say her muscles were sculpted by the gods.
You know what? That is
funny thing though. She is one of a trio of 3 dragons. She is the brass dragon. There is also a silver dragon named Valdanis.
Okay.
Who is sort of a reclusive shut-in, who also has a physical disability that has not come up in the campaign yet.
Okay.
Who knows if it will. He's missing one of his arms.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Got a little too overzealous in his ancient old age and decided to take on a bunch of frost giants by himself. Did not go well.
I'll say that seems about right.
Yeah, so he actually has a prosthetic forelimb made of his own ice.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then the odd one of the bunch is Blightwing, a green dragon. He is smart enough to know that evil does not work. But in their true dragon forms, brass dragons are tiny.
Oh, okay.
In terms of dragons. Like, they are like the smallest of all dragons at their ancient age.
Okay.
So to have her human form be 8 feet tall is like, it's just a flex. Because the other 2, their human forms are like 6'1" and 5'11".
Okay.
I was like, yeah, we don't need to be larger than life. We're going to hide. Fuck that. I'm awesome.
It's just kind of, I guess the best way to say she's compensating for the small size in dragon form.
Yeah, pretty much. She's compensating. She is totally compensating. But she is a party favorite, and it didn't happen the first time they met her.
Okay.
But the first time they met her, they were at a party. It didn't happen the second time they met her because they had shit to do.
Right.
Third time they met her, third time's the charm, the halfling monk and the elf cleric DM NPC, they had snoo. And of course, to respect all the players at the table, anytime something like that happens, cut to black.
Yep.
And as the doors close on her bed chambers, what are the rest of you guys doing? Shit like that. Like, we'll get back to you after the fact. You guys need rest. But yeah, it was just because of that, and like that happened, and I think about a month or so later, I'm just scrolling through TikTok, and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet had just been announced.
Okay.
and everybody was going gaga over Professor Seda.
Right.
Because she had 3 little lines on her stomach, which means abs.
Mm-hmm.
So people started calling her the Unga Bunga Professor.
That's right. So, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Yeah. One of them looks like they peddle cryptocurrency. The other looks like Death by Snoo Snoo. It's not wrong.
It's not wrong.
That is wrong, but it is not incorrect. But I'm scrolling through TikTok and I see somebody make an animation of obviously a beefed up Professor Seda with thighs thicker than her fucking waistline. And it's put to the audio that would later become synonymous with the animation.
Right.
And it was just like some other artist's art of the character, and doing little Death by Snoo Snoo chant was, I guess, like their Typhlosion character as a human, like doing a little like dance, not like fully animated, like little pose.
Right.
Like that was the initial inspiration. I found the audio. I was like, you know what? This is basically Kelly and Ortega. I sent that TikTok to the player who plays the halfling monk, and they were like, yes. I was like, I know what I must do. And I scribbled up the little shitpost. And it sat unfinished for a couple months. I had like worked on it here and there. Because again, animation is a slog. And yes. I'm an ADHD riddled gremlin. I lose interest on things really quickly.
Fair enough.
I go from hyperfixation to hyperfixation like the changing of the seasons. It happens. Sometimes I go back to things. Sometimes I don't.
Yep.
Like, it happens. But I got it to like where it's a finished sketch animation. And I'm showing it to my friends, and like, they all love it. And everyone's saying like, dude, you need to put this online. You need to put this online. You need to put this online. People will love it. I was like, maybe when it's finished. Maybe. And I'm talking to one of my friends. Do you know Chi-Chi?
I know Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi's someone I've been wanting to have on this podcast for a long while now.
She is such a sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm chatting with Chi-Chi. I show that to her, and she's like, you need to put this online right now. I was like, maybe when it's finished. Like, no. Now. Do it. Trust me. I was like, all right. I'll throw it up on TikTok. 20 minutes later. 3,000 views. And
right.
counting.
That seems about right.
I had to put my phone on the charger because it would not stop going off. And I was like, okay, I'm going to finish this.
I know what I must do.
And then
now.
I did. And let me actually check my check the old phone here. Let's see what we're currently sitting at right now in terms of the viewage on the TikTok. 4 million views.
Yep.
4 million views on TikTok. And it's a fucking shitpost for a niche group of people who will only understand the context if you're in that group. And yet, everybody can fucking relate to it.
I would say, look, sometimes you don't need the context. Sometimes you just see big muscular lady walking towards you. And
sometimes you just see something and you're like, mood.
You see something and you're with Callie on the side right there. Death by Snoo.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'll have the time to do it. I really don't. But what I want to do, because it's coming up on its 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, which is insane to think about.
It really is. But what I kind of want to do, even if it's just a sketch, I want to do an updated version.
Oh, okay.
Like, that shows, like, the full dragon form and, like, you know, Ortega's full body doing the full walk. I also need to redo the walk cycle because that is not how a body works when it's walking. Like, the anatomy on it, even some of the newer ones, is a bit fucky. But, you know, you learn as you go.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to do is see if I can't get Danny, who plays Callie in my campaign, to actually do the chant herself. Because it's not my audio. It is not my audio. The audio belongs to another creator on TikTok. Mm-hmm. I try to remember to link the original audio when I can, but I think it also got taken down for some reason. Because I remember I'm going to dinner with my girlfriend. We're going to Red Lobster, and I'm like, I wonder how it's doing. I can't hear anything. Turn the phone up. Why is the audio not playing? And apparently, it got the animation got muted.
Oh, lovely.
But only the finished one. The sketch animation still had its audio because that was not credited to the original. Because that audio was not credited to the original creator. That was still "quote unquote" my audio. So I was like, okay, get that audio. But I also did it kind of wrong. So now the original also kind of cuts out right at the end. Yeah, like the last half second of the animation is mute on TikTok. I cannot fix it.
There's only so much you can control, especially with a weird fucky situation like that. But
yeah,
I mean, even then, just thinking about all the stuff you just talked about right there, to say that it is surreal to see this shit post blow up the way it does is probably putting it lightly. It's probably an understatement.
I am going to be 80 years old in a retirement home if the world hasn't imploded yet, and someone is gonna walk up to me and go, "Aren't you the Death by Snoo Snoo guy?" And I'll be like, "Huh, how are you? I'm from the war, a non-specified war of 19 on..." This is gonna be my fucking legacy. No matter what I do, no matter if I work for Disney, if I work for Pixar, if I work for DreamWorks, no matter what I do as a career, everybody is always gonna know me as the Death by Snoo Snoo guy.
I mean,
that's just gonna be my fucking thing.
I mean, if of all the things you could potentially be known for, that's at least gotta be one of the more fun things to be known for. I mean,
yeah.
And at least you're somewhat embracing it. You're not just being like, yeah.
I am begrudgingly embracing it.
Well, I mean,
it's like, yeah, that's me.
I mean, you say that, but you also open up commissions to where if other people wanted to have their models doing the Death by Snoo Snoo walk, you still do it for them.
Yeah, because I know people love it.
Exactly. I will say one of my personal favorite ones, aside from the original, is the one you did for Minerva, Party Demoness.
Yes, that is, I think, my favorite just because of the technical aspect behind it.
Yes,
I spent 2 hours in Audacity to get the TTS to replicate the chant the way it did. And not only that, I had to do 5 or so different takes to get the transition between the lighting effects between her regular form and blacklight mode to work.
Right. Yeah, that was the part that was gonna just credit you on more than anything else. That's my favorite part, the transition between the two.
Yeah.
It looks so fucking crisp and you do
basically what I did for that was so the way, from a technical point, the way the Death by Snoo Snoo animations work is it is typically a 7-frame animation loop that is mirrored to mimic the other half of the step.
Right.
It gets a bit funny if the character has asymmetrical clothing or body patterns because it's not perfectly symmetrical, which ups the price and difficulty.
Right.
So what I did for Mins was when I color these, I separate every color into its own layer. So the skin has its own layer, the hair has its own layer, clothing color A, clothing color B, clothing color C, etc., etc., etc. The face is typically on its own layer. Any skin markings are on their own layer.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did for Mins was I got the first part of the walk cycle, just normal light, the blue and the magenta. Got that working. Looks good. Okay. I duplicated that. I duplicated the layer, which had the full walk cycle already done, and I just changed the colors. Just changed the colors to the blacklight, to her blacklight mode.
Right.
And just kind of spaced out the timing of the actual layers themselves. Okay, now this one shows. Now this one shows. Now this one shows. Now this one shows.
I mean that's it's certainly a testament more than anything else. Seeing like the different colors, different aspects of it. Like I said, just getting the TTS bot to just work perfectly the way you want it to. Like another thing on. So I'm genuinely curious because I know you've done some like for personal reasons and like done stuff that you personally want to do, and obviously you've done some for commissions as well. Obviously, I know one of the ones that goes back to one of your previous points. You did one for one of the characters for Critical Role, which is also really well done as well. So like,
yeah, that was the first one to pass 1 million views on Twitter.
There you go.
And both Matt Mercer and Laura Bailey liked it.
There you go. Gotta love whenever those content creators you look up to like recognize your hard work as well. But I'm genuinely curious: is there now? It could be for the Death by Snooze Walk, or just in general. Like, is there a character that you would personally like to take a stab at and try to animate as well?
I'd like to maybe animate She-Hulk at some point because that's one of my favorite Marvel characters. I got a poster of She-Hulk on my wall.
Oh, there you go.
Other than that, I want to do more animations with like, dragons or dinosaurs. Because I like dragons and dinosaurs.
Hey, you know what? Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, they're such unique creatures, and especially when it comes to like certain things like walk cycles or like interactions, stuff like that. It leaves a lot of open opportunities for you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I will say, like, it's incredible seeing like all the stuff you've had at hand with like animation and stuff like that, and like D&D and stuff like that. And throughout all this stuff that we're talking about, you've also found a way to get involved with streaming, most notably VTubing, more than anything else.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to go down this path now. What got you interested in streaming in the first place? Let me start by asking that.
Okay, so I'm the kind of person who like I work better if I know I am being watched.
Okay.
Like I don't know if this is like how I was fucking conditioned in school because I am autistic. I am high functioning autistic.
Okay.
My school did not know what high functioning means. So I was constantly hounded and shadowed. Even if you had like just mild ADHD, they treated you like a baby. Yeah, they were not a good crowd. So I don't know if it's just like them, like just coming back to haunt me with me being like, I work better if I know like I have an audience or someone is watching me. Like, okay, so this will it helps me focus and yada yada yada. So I had tried streaming before a couple of times, just like with face cam. Hi.
Hi.
I had tried art streaming, which got a decent amount of attention. I had like an average of 4 people.
Hey, that's something. That's
better than 0.
Exactly.
I think like at my highest it was like 9 because one of my friends who was streaming MapleStory at the time gave me a raid and I was like, oh, hi. Anyway, but all of the times I had tried streaming, it had completely fallen through because more often than not, I was streaming to an empty room and it just got more disheartening than anything. But then in late 2021, I was scrolling on Twitter and once again, bringing it back up, my friend Zonis, he reblogged one of his friend's commission sheets. And it had this nice comic book like style of this beefy goblin lady with like this massive femur bone for a warhammer.
Okay.
I was like, oh, this is a nice artist. I like this. Who is this artist? And they went by the name of Red Claw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I sent them a DM. I was like, hey, you seem to like dinosaurs and beefy ladies. I too enjoy dinosaurs and beefy ladies. Have a scribble of a dinosaur and a beefy lady. And he was like, yes. And we just started chatting every now and then. And I decided to tune into his stream. Because my first like knowledge of VTubers was like, the super duper like, anime e-girl crowd, which, is that's their crowd.
Yep.
Not really my cup of tea. It was like, okay, it's like I want to be an anime character on the internet. That's great. Good for you. So I had also found Juniper, Ego Cider.
Okay.
Who is less, not super anime, kind of anime, but they have like that's such a unique design. I was like, oh, that's not a generic anime girl.
Right.
That's actually something. Okay. So I took another look at it. And then I tuned into Red's stream and was like, oh, he's just a fucking dinosaur. That's just a straight up dinosaur.
Yep.
Cool. So I was like, you know what? I'll give it a try. I scribbled up a little PNG of Hammer the Shark, who I was at the time.
Yep.
And tried my hand at it. I was a PNG at the start, and I had like a few people. Like, I think I had, again, 4 or 6 on the very first stream. I actually think it was was it Dark Souls? No, Dark Souls was the first game I played on stream. I think my first stream was just a regular art stream.
Okay.
And it grew from there. And I came to enjoy it. There were a few streams where I would look at chat and it would just be blank for the entirety of the stream. I had the brain worms come creeping in of like, no one's watching, no one cares. What am I doing? The next stream, people are chatting. I was like, okay. And I just decided to stick with it.
Oh, good. I mean, I'm certainly glad you've stuck with it to develop this cool audience that you've had so far. And I'm glad that you also talked about, like, obviously, like, some of the inspirations that you had when it came to Red Claw and such. And
Red Claw is the reason I became a VTuber.
There you go.
I will say that. I will never stop saying that.
I mean,
you have him to blame for me.
I mean, to be fair, for anyone that has not seen a Red Claw stream, you're missing out, because like the guy is certainly a personality more than anything else.
Mm-hmm. He's a dinosaur.
He is a dinosaur. He's certainly a dinosaur.
And like that's another thing, like why his model is so unique, because like you have people, like you have VTubers who are like, like my VTuber is a lightning bug, and it's anime character with antennas and a glowy butt. My character is a hellhound, anime girl with ears and a tail. My character is an orca. I'm looking at you, Shy Lily. Like, anime girl with markings and a tail. And if that's the look you want to go for it. Perfectly valid. But to see someone who's like, their avatar is literally just a fucking T-Rex. It's come so far out of left field. It was like, oh, okay.
That's the one thing
it stands out.
That's the one thing I love when it comes to like VTubers and stuff like that, because like, yeah, you do have a good chunk of them that are just, anime person with small distinct things and whatnot. But like, especially if you go more towards the indie side, the creativity that some of these people have with how they present their models, like, it blows my mind more than anything else. That's what I love about VTubers more than anything else.
Yeah, like look at creators like Cabal.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like the reason he stands out among VTubers is because his design is just so unique and it's so eye-catching. It's like, oh, there's the funny purple noodle man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you see like a sea of VTubers, and if Cabal's in the audience, your eye can go, there he is. There's the funny spooky noodle man.
I was gonna say, like, one of the first ones that got me interested in VTubing in the first place was previously Artsy Grandpa, but now Eldritch Grandpa. I mean, not many people are going to portray themselves as an old man on the internet, VTubing. Especially one as unique as Sam, who implements like the Eldritch elements and such, like the creepy character in the background, or like the tentacle coming out of his hand and such.
Yeah, another VTuber whose design is so unique that I love, and I want to draw more, but it's also kind of a pain in the ass to draw, is the Viscera, the Cryptid Coven.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. For one, it's a body type that you don't typically see in the VTuber community. Her model is heavy set.
Yep, exactly. I was gonna say, like, you know, you say that, and I also think of Kaiju Fluffs as well, like the way.
Yes, Stacy. I love Stacy.
Yes, exactly.
And she is such a sweetheart. She one of my best friends.
Exactly. And so, like, in all of this, funny you say, in all of this sea of VTubers as well, you decided to portray yourself as a hammerhead shark to start things off. Why was that why was that like the go-to first thing that you wanted to do to portray yourself?
So in the far long forgotten year of 2006.
Oh, okay. We're going back for this one.
Yeah. I was 13 years old. And I had recently come back to Texas from visiting my grandpa in New Jersey. And as a gift, I got a game for my GameCube that I had at the time.
Okay.
That game was Sonic Heroes.
Okay.
Yeah. And at the time, my hyperfixation at the time were sharks. Because it was also around the time of Shark Week. And I was like, I like sharks now. Hammerhead sharks are cool. They're weird looking. I like them. I'm going to make a Sonic character.
Oh.
So, yeah. So I mind you, it looked nothing like the Sonic art style. It was a bowling pin with arms and legs and a T on its head. But it was a banana yellow hammerhead shark.
Okay.
And that was the character. I couldn't think of a name, so I just called him Hammer. And not long after, I discovered DeviantArt and decided I'm going to make a profile. I need a username. Hammer the Shark.
And it kind of just
and it never changed. I stuck with it. The little shark changed over the... Actually, it kind of got swept to the wayside, and it was just a name for a while. And then I found this. So you use DeviantArt, right?
I've been on it here and there, but I haven't personally used it.
So you know how like the old emoticons used to work in DeviantArt, where people would like make profiles just to be an emote icon or emoji icon.
Right.
Yeah, I found one that was called Fluff Shark. It was a little puff ball with two fins, a little like the colon-3 face, and a tail, a little dorsal fin, and it was so cute, so adorable. I was like, this is mine now. And I started using that as my profile icon and my mascot. Whether or not that was legal, I did not know, nor did I care at the time.
Well, considering the fact that, you know, no legal...
It's DeviantArt. It's basically a lawless no man's land.
Yeah, there you go.
But several months later, like maybe a couple of years later, actually, when I was getting a decent bit of attention because I was doing a Nuzlocke comic at the time, which also, you know, petered out and fell flat. The original artist of the Puff Shark icon contacted me. I was like, well, it's nice to see somebody who's actually using the little thing. And after a while, I changed the design to be more in line with a hammerhead.
Right.
And it just sort of mutated and evolved from there.
So whenever
it sort of accidentally became the avatar of the stream, which was never really intentional. It was always just supposed to be like a mascot.
Well, I mean, I imagine, especially whenever the VTubing actually became the thing, and so in fact your name was Hammer the Shark. It just more or less. Like,
I had wanted to change it. I had wanted to change the name for like the 10-year anniversary of my DeviantArt profile in 2016. I was like, it's been this long. I don't really care about sharks or the ocean. They're there. They're cool. I acknowledge them. They're not my heart and soul. It's not my pride and joy. I actually have a little bit of thalassophobia.
I mean,
which is why I'm not playing Subnautica anytime soon.
You know what? That is very valid. That is extremely valid.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like,
But I could never think of anything to change it into. I briefly thought like, maybe keep like a little bit of that theme and change it to like Hammerhead Studios or Hammerhead Productions, Hammerhead Entertainment. But no, nothing had that same ring of like Hammer the Shark.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
So it leads me to also wonder, like, obviously, like I said, so you get into VTubing, and like you said, your name is Hammer the Shark. Well, let's just keep the Hammerhead thing and use that, as your avatar when you initially wanted it to have as like a mascot. Like, I could see how that initially started off like that. So at what point did you decide, you know what? As much as I, appreciate what the Hammerhead has done for me, I gotta make a change. What made you want to change away from the Hammerhead?
Honestly, it was the creation of the Fairbanks model.
Okay.
Yeah. So I played Cyberpunk 2077 when it first came out, and I loved it. I had no problems with any bugs because I played it on Xbox, which apparently was safe.
Oh, okay.
But I loved it. Loved the atmosphere. Loved the environment. And I've always been the kind of guy who I like science. I like technology. I will sit and watch BattleBots because that is some of the coolest fucking shit.
Oh my god, yeah, dude, fucking
yeah. It's like STEM, science, technology. Math can go suck a fat dick. But just like sci-fi stuff, like bionic limbs, which hopefully we're getting to soon. Mm-hmm. We technically already have cyborgs walking around. There is a dude in Sweden who's paraplegic. His legs do not work because of a spine injury. Mm-hmm. He recently got an implant that's like in his head that sends to a transceiver in his spine, in like the base of his spine, and he can walk. He is walking with Wi-Fi. And just stuff like that is so cool, and it's really so interesting. And it's like, that is the kind of thing that I want to dive more into. How the hell am I going to do that as a cute little shark?
Right.
That just comes so far out of the field. Also, I'm a spicy person. I like my lewd stuff. I like to make crass jokes. The shark is a very cute and family-friendly design. So that can be a problem later down the line.
Yeah, this isn't like Drawn Together where you get like the cute little pig like swearing like.
Oh god, I love Drawn Together though. That was such a funny show.
Oh no, it
does not hold up, but it was funny. Some of that stuff did not age well, but you know what? They made fun of everyone. You can't be offended.
No, I was gonna say, like, more than anything else, it was definitely a product of its time, but that doesn't mean it was a bad product of its time, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, again, like in a show that makes fun of literally everyone.
Yep.
You can't be offended because no one is safe.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh, they're making fun of the LGBT community. Okay. All right, who are they gonna make fun of next episode? I see. The Christians.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's like back and forth.
I was gonna say, I'm glad you brought that one because I was really gonna bring up like the time where they made fun of Veggie Tales more than anything else.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite episodes. Oh god, like I was raised Jewish. Okay. I love Veggie Tales. Because like all like the religious overtones went over my head.
Yeah, fair enough. But okay.
Also, the Drawn Together, like every now and then they would make they would bring out the Jewish caricature of Senior Edward Goldberg, I think his name was, who was like, "Oh, I'll sue you for every penny, and then I'll invest it wisely."
Yeah,
like that sounds like my uncle. Like that's the thing about like most Jews. They like a lot of Jews, they will laugh at the Jewish stereotypes because more often than not, that is one of their cousins.
Yeah, basically.
Or their family members. Like one of my favorite voices is the Jewish Uncle Lenny. Everybody's got the Jewish Uncle Lenny. You're not sure how you're related, but you are. That voice is based on my Uncle Joe.
There you go.
And apparently I used to have an Uncle Lenny who passed away when I was young, so there you go.
Well, you know what?
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Self-fulfilling prophecy. All right, so
Max, what are you doing? My cat's being stupid.
He's the king of the castle. He's the king of the castle.
Look at the little shit.
I see him. Having fun up there?
Right? But back on topic. I had also, at the encouragement of the girlfriend, I sat down and watched Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Oh.
I was like, I like this. I like this a lot. It gives me the good hurt feels. All of these characters need shit tons of therapy. But not long after I finished watching it and had a good cry in private about about the ending of the show, no spoilers, I whipped up my own little Cyberpunk OC, who was closely based on how I styled my V in Cyberpunk.
Okay.
The purple hair, the hardcore netrunner build, because that was my favorite build style, because I am bad at aiming in those games. I am so bad at shooters. So, like, if I can just sit in the back line and let all the bad guys just, like, make their heads explode and let them fight it out amongst themselves, I'm like, okay, I like this. This is more my play style. And do you mind if I drop some art that you can probably show for a slideshow?
Please do. I would more than
so
love
to. Not long after, I drew this.
Yeah, okay, I've seen that one. Yeah, that's the one that you have to
I use it as my my starting soon screen now.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a absolutely gorgeous piece more than anything else. Plus, like, the classic, obviously, "Welcome to the Internet."
Yep, that is the song at the top of their character playlist, and also the reason they have the glasses.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yep, I've actually posted their inspiration map. It has some familiar faces on it.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The two stripes on the hat were a recent addition to be more in line with the Double D inspiration.
Right.
The height and the obviously mechanical legs inspired by Camille. The whole character is V. The patchwork design was partially inspired by the fact that they were a merc. They probably don't have access to, like, the super high end cyberware and stuff. So, like, they have, like, they're all patched together from, like, different brands, different makes and models, and that also lends into the Frankenstein look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The sort of nutty personality is Kururu from Sergeant Frog, if you know that anime, and the glasses are Bo Burnham.
Yep. Straight up.
Yeah.
So, like, one of the things I have to ask about is, like, I can only imagine, like, especially considering the fact that you had previously branded yourself as this cute little shark creature, like, going to this 6'10" cyber lady that could probably dominate anyone in a 5-mile radius. Like, was it hard to kind of do that transition from the previous model to this
Absolutely. One? It was not an easy decision. It was scary.
Right.
I was like, I don't know if this is even a good idea, because with the name, if it was just like a design change,
right,
that'd be perfectly fine. But because it was a name change as well,
it was not just a name change or a model change. It was a full on aesthetic change more than anything else.
Like, okay, sorry. Like with some VTubers and even streamers in general, like Zentreya. Mm-hmm. They were a dragon. They went the cyberpunk route, but all they had to do was change their appearance because it was just a name.
Right.
That could be open ended. How the hell am I going to do anything else with Hammer the Shark?
Right.
I backed myself into a corner. Kind of fact. He's like, I want to talk too. I don't know if that's actually picking up on my mic.
No, it is.
Oh, no.
No. It's cute. It's fine. I was going to say, like, Max is adding his 2 cents of, like, I told him it was a bad idea. He just wanted to keep doing his own thing, huh?
Hang on.
I told them they shouldn't.
Look at that blob. Look at that blob.
It's like Max is like, I told them that was a bad idea. Everyone loves the cute little shark design. Why would you change that for people? But no, they want to do their own thing.
Yeah. It wasn't Vax telling me that. Trust me. that information came from a different source.
Right.
Not gonna get into that.
Fair enough.
But I actually had a because I had my quote unquote farewell stream for Hammer the Shark, and almost immediately after I ended stream, I went to Twitch and changed the name.
Okay.
Which was probably not the smartest thing, because the day after I was sitting at my computer staring at it going, what the fuck did I just do? And actually basically had like a breakdown. I was like, this is a dumb idea. I'm gonna have to reintroduce myself to all of my friends in chat. No one's gonna recognize me.
Right.
And it was major brain worms. But it worked out.
Yeah.
Question mark?
No, I was gonna say, like, I would honestly say it worked out, because, like, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
as much as I did love the hammerhead shark design or whatnot, I love Fairbanks' design.
Same.
I like it looks so cool. Like, the aesthetic that you got going into it, the whole entire cyberpunk aspect is like just it oozes just cool creativity more than anything else.
I honestly love how like my little seedling of a community has also taken to it and welcomed it, and just accepted it. And honestly, like the whole new aesthetic is just more. It's more freeing.
Yeah,
I can do more interactions. Like every now and then, like a VTuber will have like, hey, post your PNG for a fun, all in good fun smasher pass tier list. And I would throw the shark up. I know where I'm gonna end up. I'm gonna be at the bottom. I'm gonna be in the cuddle pile. I'm like, okay, I can see where this is going. Let's just see the reactions. But with this, I was like, okay, now we have a bit of mystery here. Now I can actually have fun with this.
And now we can actually see if it's actually smash.
And that's another thing. Like, I can make more, like, more crass and terse jokes.
Yep. Yeah.
I have jokingly said that that Fairbanks' legs also double as a hydraulic press. And hashtag interchangeable parts for every occasion.
There you go.
And one of my favorite things that I've been able to say is because I make the art and do the model rigging for all of my models. I am the only VTuber who has given themselves a boob job live on stream.
Oh, yeah?
Because like not long after the rebrand, I was looking at it, I was like, I don't like the way the bust mesh is kind of like moving. I'm gonna redo it. And I did. Live on stream. Did the new art, did the new rigging, imported the model, and boom! Boob job live on stream.
I mean, you show me another VTuber that says they're able to do that, and I will be impressed, more or less.
Exactly.
I mean, like, I can only imagine, like, especially in fact, like we said beforehand, you've only been doing this for the Fairbanks as your model for a good couple months. Like, I can only imagine.
Yep, couple months.
I can only imagine, like, some of the possibilities that could potentially come, especially when it comes to, like, collaborations and such.
Oh yeah, I got invited to a tag review stream where on another VTuber stream where we just talked about, like, hentai tags and stuff.
Okay.
It's all, like, in a analytical, educational, and actual discussive manner. We're not like all sitting around like, oh yeah, this is the good stuff. there was a little bit of that, but it was like, so like the reason behind like why people like this could stem from this or this or this. Right. It was like one of the ones that came up was hyper. I was like, why do people like this? I can chime in on that if you see some of my art. It's just fun to draw like just exaggerations like that.
Right. I mean, it's
a lot of it comes from just like it's just something fun to draw.
I can only imagine. I mean, just thinking back to like, whether some of the stuff. I mean, especially like opportunities like that, like when it comes to the streaming and stuff like that. I'm genuinely curious. Ever since you've really gotten yes, I see the little guy. I was gonna say, like, when it comes to some of the streams you've been able to do and such, whether it be whenever you were previously Hammer or ever since you've really invested yourself as Fairbanks, do you have a personal favorite stream or moment on stream that you can think of?
Yes.
Okay.
It wasn't So on stream, it was just a little offshoot joke, and this is back in the Hammer days.
Okay.
Back in the Shark era. Where I was being a little shit and calling out another VTuber by the name of Kimrai, who is publicly afraid of sharks.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was just like, yeah, you hear that, Kimrai? I'm calling you out. And just stuff like that. And they actually, because they were a VTuber that I had looked up to, because again, their model was, it stood out so much. And they're still kind of around. They've also rebranded as Bow Sheep.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that in itself was also a plus move to show like, hey, this can be done.
Right.
There is some merit to doing this. Like, this is possible to do. But after the little call out moment on stream, she responded in a video. It is still one of my favorite things. Because it sparked like a little pseudo rivalry between me and Kimrai. And it was so fucking funny. I had the opportunity to actually join her on stream as Hammer the Shark to play Phasmophobia.
Okay.
But I had to turn it down because it was my bedtime and I had to go to bed. Right. And she was like, looks like I'm more powerful after all. I was like, just you wait. Just you wait until my batteries are recharged. She's like, oh.
Oh, goodness. Like, it has to be incredible thinking of, like, the opportunities that both you've created yourself and, like, the opportunities you've been able to be a part of and such.
I have tried... Like, again, I said before, I tried streaming in the past. I have tried content creation in the past. I have tried to join different communities in the past. And every single time, if I wasn't like an outlier, it had completely just fallen flat. Like, I could tell nobody wanted me there. So to actually stick my feet into the VTubing community and circle and not only be welcomed, but supported and find new friendships with people whose art that I had loved in the past. Like, I did not know Kaiju Fluffs was the one behind the Shark Puppy comics.
Right?
That was yeah, that's her. That was for some of my favorite shit on Tumblr. Yeah. And Party Demoness, she's behind the Muppet Sylvanas comics. That's her. And I'm like, holy shit. I get to call these people friend right now.
Right.
I can poke them in DMs, be like, hey, what you doing, you big nerd? And they'll be like, no, fuck you, you're the nerd.
I'll say, look, I will say from a personal level, because in fact, that ever since I've started this podcast, some of the people that I've looked up to and admired, and some of the people that influence like some of my humor and whatnot, the fact that I can call some of them my friends, oh yeah, it's so surreal more than anything else.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll start. This is one of my personal favorite ones. Were you a fan of Vine back in the day? Like, just
oh god, I love Vine.
Okay. Do you remember some of there's two classics that I'll think of, but hopefully you'll remember the first one. Do you remember the first one to where it showed like a diagram of like someone like putting their feet under like the blanket underneath their feet or whatnot while they're laying down?
I do that.
Yeah, I'm friends with that person. That person,
oh yeah,
yeah. That person has since transitioned.
Good for them.
Yep, she is a musician as well called Left at London that is doing incredible indie pop more than anything else. Like,
hell yeah,
like it's incredible the fact that I can like message her up and be like, hey yo, what's up? Like, you know, just
yeah.
I've had her on the podcast twice, which is incredible. So
there you go.
So yeah, but I mean like. Think of it, like even just like the cool opportunities that like you've had with this kind of stuff. Like now that you get to call like people that are in this like community of yours, like some of your closest friends. Thinking of like just does it amaze you more or less like the community you have been able to develop since you've really invested yourself in this aspect?
Yeah, like the fact that I actually have regulars in my stream is like, yay.
I was gonna say, thinking of regulars, I was looking through some of your clips earlier today. I will say Momo is probably one of the funniest regulars that you have. Just donating.
Momo's hilarious.
Donating bits at seemingly just like the right moment more than anything else.
Yeah, Momo's a good bean. I also think she was the first person to actually buy something on my throne.
Oh, okay. Well, good shit.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Just stuff like that.
Exactly. I mean, even
it was back in the Shark era, but I was able to I was invited to the Weary 101.
Right.
And that was honestly, I had to like stare at my computer at that invitation for like a good 30 minutes. It's like just going like and just staring in disbelief because I owe Taka a personal thank you.
Hey, sorry to break the conversation right here. I just wanted to give you guys a proper heads up. The story that Banksy is about to tell right here is, while very heartwarming on some aspects, it does involve the death of a friend for a serious health condition more than anything else. So I wanted to at least give you guys that heads up. If that's something you are uncomfortable with, I will provide a timestamp, either right here in the video version or in the description below in the audio version. Just want to at least give you guys that heads up before we get back to the story. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
For a very specific and bittersweet reason. Thump. Max, no, you had so much to live for. Back in hi Max. I was on my desk. But back like right after high school graduation, my best friend at the time, Micah, was living with me at my mom's house because his living situation with his mom was how do the kids say, toxic as all fuck?
Right.
Yeah. But he was an awesome guy. And we're just sitting in the living room playing Skyrim, or he's playing Skyrim. I'm kind of like sitting next to him, just game grumping it. We're just like, we had the dialogue audio on mute, so we're just doing the voices themselves.
There you go.
And eventually at some point, Balgrove turned into the Swedish chef. The Dragonburn, welcome to it. At a certain point playing Skyrim, he just like kind of like put the controller down. I was like, oh, I got to show you this. It's super funny. And it's DBZ abridged, and it's a compilation of Super Kami Guru, which is, as everyone knows, like Taka's voice acting. He's just going, no, no. And we are both crying with laughter. And we watched like a bunch of different compilations because growing up, I did not like Dragon Ball Z. Right. I never cared for Dragon Ball Z. I always said it was too much screaming, not enough anything else. I can get just as much screaming and twice as much action, go into the hub. It ain't right, but you laughed at it. But like just the abridged was just so tongue-in-cheek, so funny and so quotable,
right,
that like we just started quoting it back and forth. We're walking down the street to go to the 7-Eleven and get snacks. I just stop, put my hand out to like stop him from going forward and just look at him and go, Vegeta, I can fly. He just goes, God damn it, Nappa. And like I'm just like in the other room and I just hear, I go, yes, Lord Guru. And just shit like that. And it was so funny and so memorable. And we did it non-stop. And later, there's the following 2 years later, 2015. He's living in a different part of Texas.
Okay.
I think he was living like near Austin or something. He moved in with his grandparents because, again, living situation at home, toxic as all fuck.
Right.
His mother was super toxic and did very bad things while she was pregnant with him. Mm. His father was a deadbeat. He had a rough go of it.
Right.
So like we started chatting over Skype and playing like League of Legends and stuff. He was a brutal Maokai. But eventually, like, things happen, people get busy, and communication kind of wanes a little bit. It happens. Friendship decay is not a thing. At least for me, it's not. About maybe 2 months after my last little chat with him on Skype, I get a phone call from our friend Cody, who is the wizard in my D&D campaign, over Skype. It's weird. I'm like, okay, he wants to talk about stuff. Like, decline the call. I'm going back to bed because I'm a night owl. It was early in the morning. Calls me again. Not on Skype, Cody. I'm not ready for internet time right now. Third time. Okay, now I know something's up. So I answer the call, and the first thing he tells me is Micah's gone. He had checked himself into the hospital the day before and didn't make it out. Septic shock.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was... I process things like that very differently from other people. It didn't truly hit me until like the 1 year anniversary.
Right.
I was just sort of like numb, like, shit. Huh. Yeah, so it was septic shock. His intestines were all kind of screwy because again, his mom did some very bad things while she was pregnant with him. So yeah, you know how your large intestine kind of looks like a question mark?
Right.
His went straight down.
Oh yeah, no, that's not good.
No, that's not good. They found like a wad of metastatized gunk in his colon the size of my fist.
Oh Jesus.
And I'm a big dude.
Yeah. Goodness.
Yeah, so even though he is long gone, I still think back to just me and him quoting DBZ Abridged religiously for like the 6 months he was living with me. And it always makes me smile. So I just have that to thank Taka for. Just giving me the opportunity to have those memories.
And the fact that years later you got to be in the
got to actually speak with him.
Yeah. Like
he will poke me in DMs every now and then, just go, "Hey, what's up?" I was like, "What's up?" And it's just so surreal and so heartwarming. Just to get to just to actually have a platform to stand on, to get to know all these people and just call some of them friends, some acquaintance, some I called friend who I don't speak with anymore. We don't go into that.
Right.
Yeah. The VTuber community is not free from drama.
No, it's definitely not.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Rarely a day to where something dramatic goes on in the VTubing community. Anyways.
Yeah. So how about those Mets?
It's about the Mets, baby. It's about the Mets. Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets.
It ain't all about the money, Spider-Man. It's about the Mets.
I have to ask, just even going further, thinking not just with VTubing, but just your art journey as a whole. You said, you cannot remember when you started drawing. You just basically, from the start, you've been drawing. Thinking how much you've been able to develop, whether it be, creatively writing when it comes to the D&D or, actually getting to animate like you've wanted to the VTubing. Does it amaze you more or less the art journey you've been on and how you've been able to progress as an artist?
Honestly, it does. It's like if I could go back and I know it's super cliche, but if I could go back in time and tell like 13-year-old me or even 15-year-old me what I'm doing now, they'd probably be like, "Who are you? Why am I going bald? And why am I so fat?"
At least you're realistic.
Oh yeah, I am out of shape and my hair. There's a reason I'm wearing a hat.
I thought it was just to go along.
I got this, but it's not on the top.
I was gonna say I thought it was just going along with the Fairbanks aesthetic.
That too. But yeah, no, my hair is migrating. I couldn't grow a beard in high school.
Hey, same here. Okay.
Yeah, it all just went. I feel like a fucking werewolf. But another thing about the Fairbanks aesthetic, it's honestly been more informative for me personally because I now basically identify as non-binary.
Right.
Yeah, it's like I never fully adhere to the ideals of truly masculine shit. I like dolls. I like cute things. I crochet. I made Fairbanks' hat.
Hey, there you go.
This is all crochet. It's not very good. I should probably have to remake it. Like, I crochet. I sew. My camera is lagging.
Okay, I didn't know if it was the camera or if it was me.
Nope. I think my camera just flat out froze. Oh dear.
Hacker noise. I'm in.
Hacker noise. I'm out. Apparently. Hang on. Let me see if I can reset my camera. Camera. There we go.
There we go.
Sorry for that. But
I'm leaving that in.
like I sew. I have made actual like toys, like plush toys for myself out of old T-shirts.
Okay.
Stuff like that. Like sure. Guns are cool if you use them responsibly. I don't really care about trucks or like big heavy machinery. I like the nitty gritty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There are times where I pass the women's section in Walmart. I'm like, that's a cute jacket. I like that shawl. And stuff like that.
Yeah. That's good. I'm glad that, especially like ever since you've really been on this art journey as a whole, it's been more or less not only help you grow as an artist, but help you grow as a person at the end of the day.
Yeah. One thing I do kind of hope for in the future is, this may seem a bit counterintuitive, to stop doing art as a means of income and just go back to doing it as a hobby.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like, there's days where I just do not have the energy to draw or animate, but at the same time, it's my primary source of income.
Right.
So now there's that added stress of like, if I do not do this today, I don't make money.
Right.
If I don't make money, I cannot afford rent. So like, if I can get to a point where streaming becomes like my full-time job and my main source of income, that'll be fantastic. I can do gaming during the day, and at night I can just go headstrong into art. Maybe I can do art on streaming. Oh no!
Yeah. I mean,
I basically like yoked myself.
Well, I mean, I hope you're able to get to that point to where, like, while streaming is the main thing, you can, like, have that art hobby thing more than anything else, and make it to where you can enjoy it. And, speaking of the future, if I may, how about for this next question, let's dream a little bit about future and go a little bit above and beyond with what I like to call the dream scenario. Let's say I am Big Shot Mr. Moneybags. I come up to him like, look, Fairbanks, I know we've seen the stuff you've been able to do, both safe and not safe, and we think you're doing some incredible stuff. And we feel like you have an opportunity to do something absolutely amazing. You just need a little extra push, a little extra platform to really help get you there more than anything else. We have access to anyone and everyone in whatever industry possible, and more money than there should be possible. We really should be getting to paying those writers. Like, it's becoming a thing now, but we'll focus on them in a little bit. Right now, we are focusing on you and you alone. If given this opportunity, what would be? Oh. Okay, I saw it.
Okay, you're back. You're back.
Yeah, I saw it freeze up for a second there too.
Yeah.
If given this opportunity, what would be the dream Fairbanks project?
Honestly, probably an animated movie centered around one of my characters.
Let's go. Okay.
Like, cause I saw the D&D movie. I loved it. It was phenomenal. You could hear the dice rolls happening behind the scenes.
There you go.
But just like that, but animated with Laura would just be, oh, yes. But the one thing I do know is I would not want to go with Disney. I do not want to go with Disney.
That's fair.
They've kind of gone down the dark side.
Ironic.
But like I'd probably go with probably DreamWorks.
Okay, that's a good one.
Or maybe even Titmouse.
Ooh,
because the Legend of Vox Machina style.
Yep.
But that's also that's not the style that I am known for and work with, because I would want to be involved with the animation myself.
I mean, that's true, but also like if you think about like some of what Titmouse has done, I mean, they do have a bit of a diversity when it comes to their styles and such. So
they're the ones behind Metalocalypse, right?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah. Metalocalypse is fucking hilarious.
Oh, of course it is. Thank God they're finally having that like finale movie, like to
yeah. God, my favorite line from Metalocalypse will always be like, "All right, I get it. You were all without fathers. I'm not. I fucking love my dad. My dad's awesome."
It's always so great more than anything else. But yeah, I would love to see like that kind of like D&D animated movie with Laura. And I mean, hey, you say we could go with a different studio. I mean, again, big shot, Mr. Moneybags, all the money in the world. Well, you just bring in like you just bring in the people that you think would work best for the project, and we'll fund them. All right, we got you covered.
Yeah.
All right?
And it's like it would either be revolving around the campaign with Laura that I'm currently in, or her own story, because she has like an ensemble cast of NPCs tied to her backstory as well.
Right.
Like I've actually drawn at her and her childhood group of friends, the Scooby Gang of the village of Amphale. Yeah, I can actually I can show you that too, because it's also one of my favorite pieces just because it's so cute.
Oh.
And it's like the first time I've been able to actually draw kids and have them look like children.
And not just look like miniature adults.
Yeah. Where is she? Laura, where'd you go? You are. Nope, that's the wrong one. There you are. And it's going down. I'm scrolling. There we go. Bloop. The gang.
Oh, that's cute. That's adorable.
Yeah. Yeah, her hair used to be blonde, and then things happened.
I think something about like the demigod aspect or whatnot might have changed it, but we'll focus on that.
No, because as a PC, the demigod aspect does not exist. That was just her sorcery manifesting.
Yeah. Anyways,
yeah.
But sadly, we gotta get down from the dream scenario. We gotta get back to reality.
Back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity.
Yep. I'll ask the ever so generic question: Where do you hope to see yourself, say 5 to 10 years from now?
Ideally, probably living where I am now, because I really like this apartment.
There you go.
Maybe doing content creation full time as like part of streaming. I do kind of want to make partner.
Oh, there we go.
Because it's more opportunities. I get more income from it. But again, that's a dream scenario. Whether or not I have the time to do it, because I only stream 2 hours a day. I want to stream longer, but I don't know whether I have the energy for it.
Right.
I also have an IRL schedule that I need to work around.
Right.
But that sort of thing would be nice.
Like I said, I mean,
we'll see if it's in the cards.
I mean, I certainly hope it's at least in the cards, especially with some of the stuff you've been able to present so far, even the small little bits of streaming 2 hours a day when you can. So I mean, like, it would be cool to see what you would be able to do in the future.
Yeah, I know an immediate goal for the future is I want to open up live 2D commissions.
There we go.
Yeah.
Seeing what you've been able to do with the live 2D so far, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah. Because I've made models for my friends just because I want to practice something, but I don't want to make a model for myself. It's like, I want to make my friends something.
Right. I was going to say, I know.
Yeah, like the model I made for Minerva.
Yep.
That was just so I could practice a flex toggle. An actual animated one. Instead of just going, boom.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Which, again, very good model that you made for that one as well.
Thank you.
As we start to wind down the interview, I just have one last question I want to ask you. Obviously, you've been deeply entrenched in art in one aspect.
Oh, there it goes.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I have one last question I want to ask you. Obviously, you've been deeply entrenched in art for as long as you can remember. Like, literally, for as long as you can remember. How important is art, not just for you, but for the world as a whole?
I'd say more important than people realize. People think of art and they immediately think of like drawings or paintings, and it's more than that. People kind of had a little taste of that during the initial COVID lockdown of like, oh, people think art isn't an essential worker position. It is, because without artists, we get no music, we get no graphic design, we get no architecture, we get no movies, because acting is an art form.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get we don't get food, because culinary arts, that too is art. Art is so intrinsic to just, it is the central cog the rest of the world turns around, whether or not we notice it.
Exactly. That is wonderfully worded, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
Banksy, that is all the questions that I have for you. I've showered you with a whole bunch of praise, but I'm gonna show you a little bit more because it's my podcast. I do what the fuck I want.
God damn it.
Look, Banksy, like I said, ever since I first became aware of you with the obvious Death by Snoo animation, like ever since the start, ever since that start or whatnot, I have just absolutely loved and been impressed, not just with the art you've been able to produce, but the personality you put forward to the people. You know, you provide a good vibe for whoever comes in and seeing all this different stuff. I mean, the art that you are producing, every opportunity that you showcase it, I crave it and I need more of it in my life because I absolutely love. And I know it was hard to even think about doing a rebranding, but whenever you did that rebranding, I couldn't help but commend you for actually going forth and being true to yourself and making that truly your aesthetic more than anything else. Because I think you have truly embraced it and rocked it like 20-fold more than anything else. I cannot get enough of Fairbanks every opportunity I get to see them. Like the model and such, and like the aesthetic you provide for your streams and such. Like it lets me know that like every opportunity I get to see of your stuff makes me excited to see what's going to be next of your stuff. And that's why, no matter what you're doing 5, 10, 20, 50 years down the line, more than anything else, I'm going to be excited for every little thing that you do. Even if it is just 20 more Death by Snoozes, you know what? That's 20 more Death by Snoozes I'll be enjoying at the end of the day.
I think after this last one, I'm going to be hanging those up for a little bit.
And you know what? That's fair.
I need to get my energy back for doing those.
And you know what? Hey, I understand that. I completely understand it. But you know what? You're still providing. One second. Am I good? Okay. You're still providing like a good opportunity, a good vibe, and just good art at the end of the day. And that's all I can truly appreciate at the end of the day. So thank you so much for putting yourself out there. Thank you so much for all that you do. And please keep up the incredible work because I'm gonna be rooting for you no matter what you're gonna be doing from here on out.
Thank you. I am at a loss for words half the time.
Hey, look,
I'm sitting at my computer just going, what the fuck happened? How the fuck did I get here?
I asked that, and you accepted for some reason.
What monkey's paw did I wish upon for this?
Well, hopefully the monkey's paw will be a good one in this case because it's like a good scenario with little repercussions just for appearing on a podcast. Hopefully.
Is this because of that wishbone I had on Thanksgiving like 12 years ago?
What, have you always wanted to appear on a podcast? Is that what's up?
I don't know.
Well, regardless, if people want to see what exactly I'm gushing about and get to know kind of the Fairbanks vibe that I'm just all about, go ahead and plug your stuff for the people at home.
So my Twitter is still hammertheshark. I haven't changed it yet. I'm probably gonna be doing that in the next couple of weeks, depending. Just to avoid confusion. I'm still hammertheshark on TikTok. I'm gonna be making an alternate one purely for Fairbanks and like Twitch clips later on in the future. Same with YouTube. I'm gonna be uploading clips, but you can find me Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday on Twitch at Fairbanks_VT.
There you go. And if you missed any links or anything like that, I'll be sure to have them in the description below to make sure that people don't lose them more than anything. Do you have any final words before we sign off?
Normal is an illusion made by people who are too afraid to be different. Be yourself, be happy.
Beautiful. Wonderfully worded, if I do say so myself. And with that, all I'd love to say is for the people at home, pay your artists.
Tell me what's wrong, tell me it's parts in motion. Sing me a song, tell me your eyes can't go open. Show me it all, pick me up in the car you go when. You used to call
Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. If this is your first time listening, I greatly do appreciate it. Like I said in the intro, especially all the different topics that we got to touch upon with this conversation, this was genuinely a good, fun conversation. Fairbanks, if you've gotten up to this point, sincerely thank you for taking the time to do this. It was genuinely a fun chat. Especially getting into some of the topics, especially like the D&D stuff. Like, I knew it was going to be good, because I knew it was a basis for some of the other stuff, but man, the stories you were telling was incredible. You know, Fairbanks is a really good example of an artist that I can't help but admire in this community. Especially with like the stuff they've done as of late, especially when it came to that rebranding that they did, when they changed from Hammer the Shark to Fairbanks. I don't know if you guys realize this, unless you're already in it. Well, I mean, I'm sure you guys have probably thought about how you want to present yourself in one way or another. And it's one thing to present yourself as one thing, but it's another thing to have to go back and like change everything about it for something that you personally enjoy. I personally have not had to deal with this kind of thing, but judging by the conversation that Fairbanks had said and that we had about, you know, rebranding from Hammer to Fairbanks, I can only imagine how hard it must be, especially to be as established as they were, to go forth and make this a reality. But like I said in the conversation, I think they do a good job really embracing this new role and really putting everything they can into it and presenting a amazing time for everyone involved. That change is something that I've kind of thought about myself when it comes to certain things, especially like my life and my career. I think it's a good example of both rolling with what life gives you, but also rolling with the opportunities that are presented to you. There's a conversation that I had on the podcast with a future guest about what they expected for themselves versus what happened to them. That will be coming up shortly. As a matter of fact, I think the next couple episodes are kind of like that. And just kind of... so you hear dog in the background. I think it just kind of goes back to something that I've thought about with certain people. You know, life is not going to always be a straightforward trajectory of what you expect and what you do. But I think at the end of the day, it both depends on rolling with what life gives you and presenting yourself opportunities, giving yourself the opportunity to be prepared for whatever life does throw at you. I feel like this podcast is a good example of that. I did this podcast more or less on a whim, and to see the growth that it has it's not exactly the career path that I was aiming for, but it's a career path that I'd be more than happy to embrace if it provided me the opportunity to make it a career. That's something that I want you guys to consider, especially if you go forth on your artist path and such. You know, life is not going to always be straightforward. It's going to be difficult. There are going to be trials. But I sincerely hope that you get the opportunities to showcase just how amazing of an artist you are. I hope you get the opportunity to showcase how amazing of a person that you are. You're able to take what you were given and you're able to roll with it and succeed in it regardless of what you do. Because you guys deserve everything, especially if you're going into an art path. It's never easy to go into something like this, but I know you guys put your all into it, and I sincerely hope you guys get those opportunities to do some incredible stuff. And like always, I'm going to be by your side rooting for you. So keep up the incredible work. Roll with what life gives you, and just at the end of the day, just keep doing incredible stuff.